The latest buzz in Formula One revolves around Mercedes' recent speed gains in Canada, thanks to new updates like a revised front wing. Despite passing technical inspections, Red Bull Racing has raised eyebrows, questioning the legitimacy of these modifications. The team's skepticism hints at potential rule-bending or grey areas within FIA regulations. Today, join us as we delve into this video uncovering what's really at stake for Mercedes and the integrity of F1. In Monaco, George Russell's car was already equipped with updates to the front wing, although these changes didn't show their full potential in that race. When the Formula One circuit moved to Canada, Lewis Hamilton also got the green light to use the new part. As a result, the team led by Toto Wolff was able to challenge strongly for victory in Canada. Mercedes performed exceptionally well during the Canadian Grand Prix, competing fiercely against Red Bull and McLaren for the top spot. While Red Bull's star driver Max Verstappen showcased incredible skill and McLaren showed speed on intermediate tyres, Mercedes managed tricky conditions effectively to avoid major setbacks, according to Christian Horner. In the 2024 season, Red Bull faces stiff competition from McLaren and Ferrari, both of which have narrowed the gap. McLaren and Ferrari have continued their strong form from last year, maintaining momentum. However, Red Bull's performance this season has been inconsistent. While Max Verstappen secured another victory in Canada, Sergio Perez struggled and finished outside the points. Perez's challenges were compounded by a three-place grid penalty for the upcoming race in Canada. Checo had a tough weekend, but fortunately Ferrari didn't score points, so we didn't lose too much ground in the Constructors' Championship, Horner concluded. Red Bull looks carefully at the competitors' wings. Red Bull is intensifying its scrutiny of its competitors, keenly aware that the smallest details can determine success or failure in Formula One. According to reports from Automotor und Sport and Formula1.com, Red Bull's engineering team, led by Paul Monahan in Milton Keynes, is closely analysing Mercedes' latest front-wing developments. The new specification W15 front wing initially appeared on George Russell's car in Monaco before being deployed on both Mercedes cars in Canada, where it proved highly effective. Sources suggest that Red Bull has unofficially requested the FIA's technical office to monitor the flexing behavior of the W15 front wing and nose, suspecting potential performance advantages gained through flexing at specific load ranges during racing conditions. While the FIA has consistently passed static checks on Mercedes' front wing, on-track observations, including televised footage, indicate greater flexing in the new W15 specification compared to its predecessor. This has raised concerns among Red Bull engineers, who are closely scrutinizing the implications for competitive parity and aerodynamic performance. James Allison, Mercedes' technical director, has praised the new front-wing update as a significant advancement for the team's 2024 campaign. However, tensions between Red Bull and Mercedes are palpable, underscored by recent indirect exchanges between Allison and Red Bull team principal Christian Horner regarding each team's respective updates and performance gains. Allison's comments suggest that Red Bull's recent developments haven't met their expectations and might represent a backward step, noted Horner in response, emphasizing Red Bull's satisfaction with their performance in Canada, where they outperformed Mercedes despite their rivals' upgrades. Meanwhile, Mercedes is gearing up for a sustained evolution of the W15, planning a series of consistent upgrades leading up to the summer break. This strategic push underscores the competitive nature of Formula One, where technological advancements and regulatory interpretations can profoundly impact team fortunes over the course of a season. Why is Mercedes so adamant its trick wing is legal? Mercedes' innovative front-wing design for the 2024 Formula One season has sparked significant interest and debate within the racing community, particularly regarding its compliance with FIA regulations. The team's approach involves a strategic modification aimed at optimizing airflow efficiency while navigating the strict boundaries of the sport's technical rules. At the heart of this controversy is Mercedes' method of reducing drag by altering the structure of the front wing. The design includes adjustments that blur the traditional boundaries set by FIA regulations. Specifically, Mercedes has integrated what appears to be a wire attached to the rearmost edge of one flap, elongating another flap to obscure the view of the rear edge, thus creating a more streamlined and efficient aerodynamic profile. The rules stipulate that front wing elements must maintain specific dimensions and configurations to prevent excessive aerodynamic advantage. When viewed from above, elements must be spaced between 5 mm and 15 mm apart, resembling a staircase pattern. Mercedes' adaptation challenges these norms by manipulating the design to enhance aerodynamic performance without technically violating the dimensional guidelines. Toto Wolff, Mercedes' team principal, emphasized that their innovations undergo a rigorous dialogue with the FIA before implementation. What's been put on a car is always following an exchange with the FIA all through the process, Wolff stated, highlighting the collaborative effort between the team and the regulatory body to ensure compliance. Despite Mercedes' confidence in their design's compliance, the F1 community remains skeptical. Pat Simons, F1's chief technical officer, acknowledged the legality of Mercedes' interpretation but raised concerns about its alignment with the spirit of the rules. "It's within the regulations, the letter of the law, no doubt about it. But is that the sort of thing we want?" Simons questioned, hinting at a potential re-evaluation of such designs to maintain competitive fairness and technical integrity. Simons' comments reflect broader concerns about how Mercedes' innovations could influence future aerodynamic developments in Formula One. The FIA's aerodynamic experts are tasked with assessing whether such innovations align with the overarching goals of regulatory parity and fair competition. "The FIA now has a very good aerodynamic group," Simons affirmed, suggesting that ongoing scrutiny and evaluation are essential to preserving the sport's competitive balance. As the 2024 season progresses, all eyes will remain on Mercedes' front wing and how it performs under both racing conditions and regulatory scrutiny. The outcome of this debate could shape future interpretations of FIA regulations and influence the trajectory of aerodynamic development in Formula One. For now, Mercedes continues to defend their design within the current regulatory framework while awaiting further assessment from the FIA. The FIA has a strong stance in technical developments to prevent a Mercedes-like situation. The FIA's vigilance over technical loopholes in Formula One remains unwavering. Teams' relentless pursuit of aerodynamic advantages within the regulations drives the FIA's vigilance. Teams invest substantial resources to exploit these loopholes while complying with the FIA's stringent checks and balances. In response to teams' ingenuity, the FIA has introduced regular updates to technical regulations over the past 2 years. A notable intervention came in October 2023 with the implementation of Technical Directive 18. This directive specifically targeted the use of overly flexible composites in front wing carcasses, aiming to curb teams' ability to manipulate aerodynamic performance through these components. Nicolas Tombazis, the FIA's single-seater director, underscored the rationale behind these regulatory interventions. Observing the teams, we saw how they managed to create relative movements in the area of the nose attachment and in the external part near the lateral fins, Tombazis explained. He highlighted teams' efforts to design components that pass static load tests while exhibiting elastic behavior on the track, posing challenges to fair competition. Tombazis hinted at the ongoing cat-and-mouse game between regulators and teams, emphasizing the FIA's commitment to maintaining competitive integrity in Formula One. All in all, it will be interesting to see if Mercedes can see themselves out of potential trouble, he concluded, suggesting that Mercedes' innovative front-wing design could face scrutiny under the latest regulatory framework. Has the 2023 TD018 directive already been bypassed by the teams? Flexing has long been a focal point in Formula One's technical regulations. In recent years, the FIA has intervened repeatedly to address flexing issues with components like floors and spoilers. Notably, in October 2023, the FIA implemented Technical Directive 18, TD018, to curb the use of excessively flexible composite carcasses in front wing structures. These regulatory adjustments are driven by safety concerns and the need to maintain fairness in competition. TD018, influenced by team input, particularly impacted Aston Martin, forcing teams to adjust their designs over the winter to comply with Article 3.2 while minimizing flexing around the front wing. Nicholas Tombazis commented on team strategies, noting how they manipulate components to pass static load tests, yet behave elastically on track. Observing the teams, we saw how they managed to create relative movements in the area of the nose attachment and in the external part near the lateral fins, Tombazis remarked, highlighting the technical cat-and-mouse game in Formula One. With the championship battle heating up, teams are closely monitoring each other's innovations. This scrutiny aims to either replicate successful designs or seek clarification on potentially contentious elements. As teams invest heavily in research and development to gain a competitive edge, the FIA's continued oversight through directives like TD018 underscores its commitment to maintaining technical parity and safety in the sport. So what do you think of Mercedes' front wing controversy talked over by Red Bull? Comment below and subscribe for more.